What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another RZR video. If this is your all's first time coming here, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button to help this channel and this video out. So guys, you just spent $10,000 to $30,000 on a brand new Polaris RZR or some other kind of side-by-side, and you're thinking, I got about $5 grand more burning a hole in my pocket. And you've seen all the cool kids at the off-road parks and the dunes, and they have all sorts of awesome accessories on it, and you can't figure out exactly what you want because you have just burned tens of thousands of bucks and you want to try to make the most of what you have left. So today I've come up with a list of the 5 most essential UTV, side-by-side, RZR, whatever, accessories that I think that you should have, in my opinion. We're gonna get started with number 5 and go down to 1. All right, guys, number 5 is going to be lighting. And the reason that I mentioned this is the lowest one is because some of you guys don't even ride at night and would have very little need for this type of accessory or upgrade or whatever. But for those of you that do, there is an endless amount of lighting options that you can have. On this particular vehicle, I replaced the halogen bulbs with BeamTech LED replacements. I've added a 12-inch Nightlight light bar, some red rock lights. These are LED as well. It'd probably be better if I did this at night, but this is the time I had to film it. And then I also added this Kimimoto 5-foot RGB spiral whip light that's Bluetooth controlled, and of course it has the American flag on there. That thing has been pretty cool. I have videos that I made for the headlights and the whip light, and I'm gonna make another one for the rock lights. But the cool part about this is you can mix and match your lighting to whatever you want or need. Some people really like the rock lights. Some people think that they're stupid. The same with whip lights and such. I think they're cool. You can do whatever you need to be done with it. But if you guys do have the halogen bulbs especially, if there's one out of all these lighting upgrades that I would do, the halogen bulbs are awful from the factory. They just don't put out that much light. It's yellow and they suck down a lot of amperage, and these things don't have a lot of extra power to give. So you're actually going to get more light and use quite a bit less power. So if you guys are night riders like we are, you know, these are some of the things to think about. That light bar, it was also very inexpensive. It was like $20 or $30. Obviously, if you're going extremely high speeds and you need light way out in front of you, you may want to spring for one of the higher end light bars, but that works just fine for me. Number 4 is going to be another one of those that's kind of depends on where you ride. We're talking about skid plates. For those of you that are out just in the sand or the desert, I do not ride there, so I'm not exactly sure where, you know, what you guys need, but I wouldn't think that you would need a very heavy duty skid plate to grind over rocks and hard packed dirt and things of that nature. But if you do ride an area where you think that you're going to hit rocks or scrape the bottom quite a bit, or if you have a 4-seater like this where the skid plate ends up being almost kind of like a 5th wheel, they are essential in my opinion. On this particular model here, on my RZR, I put in a full tusk front to rear ultra high molecular density plastic skid plate. And I did the plastic for a reason. For one, it's very slick. If you use aluminum skid plates, they have a tendency to grab rocks when they go over top of them. Or if you make something out of like diamond plate or something, not only is it usually heavy, but it also has, you know, diamond plate, so it grips. That sort of material is designed to grip. In addition, if you hit something really hard, which is what I've done right up in here, I ended up hitting a rock so hard that it came up and broke here, and this was all bent up as well. That aluminum is going to stay bent and not come back down. So I do highly recommend the ultra high molecular density plastic skid plates that go side to side on your machine. I have had aluminum skid plates. I had a full Ricochet set on an ATV that I have. They worked great, but they did, when they got dented, that was that for good, and it was hard to get them on and off again. Number 3 is going to be a roof of some sort. And the reason is that if you came from ATVs, you know that you can kind of duck and jive and do what you need to do to get away from stuff. If you didn't come from ATVs, you went right to a UTV. It's a lot easier if you're on an ATV to either do, you know, just lean over or just put your foot on one of the foot pegs and then kind of just, you know, hit the throttle and get through wherever you need. When you're in one of these, you are seated right there and you're not going anywhere. So when you come up to, you know, low-hanging trees, or you have to go through especially like pine tree thicket type of stuff or whatever, this thing is going to provide you with a lot of protection and keep things moving up and over the vehicle instead of being all up in your face. Because you can see with the roll cage, if I didn't have any of this stuff in here, that it would just come right down on you. In addition to that, an honorable mention for this would be the windshield and the rear windshield. And this particular one is the Polaris Lock and Ride plastic windshield. I haven't had any problems with scratches or anything like I hear a lot of people talk about with the plastic windshields, and I am not easy on this thing. I'll take it straight through any type of pine tree or thorn thicket or whatever. But especially the roof, this is going to keep stuff moving over you. It's going to keep the sun off of you. It's going to keep some of the elements off of you if you're out riding in the rain or the snow or just, you know, nasty type of weather. So that's my number 3 is the roof, and then honorable mentions with the front and rear windshield. And then if you can also afford doors, those are super cool as well, but I wouldn't exactly say that they're essential. All right, guys, number 2 was sort of a toss-up for me with number 1, but I'm going to put it at number 2. And what they are 4-point harnesses for your seats. And these are kind of tucked away, because I've been using this just for some utility stuff. I haven't had them on going real slow. But the thing is that the typical 3-point harness that runs, you know, through here is super duper if you hit something head on and you fly forward like this. That's gonna, you know, it's gonna catch you before you hit the steering wheel, probably. However, I'm not sure if you guys have ever watched a RZR or UTV, you know, a side-by-side video on the internet. Oftentimes, these things do this number and end up flipping over. So that seatbelt is not going to hold you in very well in this direction. It's not going to hold you in very well in these directions, especially this direction where there's no belt. So this is a critical safety thing, and this is something I tell everyone that gets one of these, is especially if you're going to drive it, you know, in a spirited type of way, if you may have a couple adult beverages with it, anything but just, you know, cruising at 5-10 miles an hour down a country road or something, get you some 4-point harnesses. They're definitely going to save your life if you know, go over in a hard way. So I mean, that's just that. That's number 2. And like I said, I kind of had a toss-up between this and number 1, but we'll get right to number 1. Okay, guys, my number 1 must-have accessory for your RZR or side-by-side, and this was a hard decision between that and the buckles, but it's got to be the winch. I feel like every side-by-side should come factory equipped with a winch. And my reason is this, is that even if you're not going crazy, you're not, you know, and so you have really no, you're not going to flip it over and, you know, need those harnesses, there is a really good chance of you getting this thing stuck at some point. Even if you're just screwing around and you think, I might just go through that creek, or I might go through that pond, that creek may be all rock except for one part that's silty, and then you're buried in the mud. And like I said about the roof, these are not ATVs. ATVs are pretty easy to, you can, they're not easy. We've all had them stuck real good, but they're a lot lighter. You can manhandle them better. You can pull them out with a strap better with another vehicle, you know, because a lot of times they're between, you know, 500 up to 1,000 pounds. Even the lightest one of these units, even like the 800 two-seaters, are over 1,000 pounds. This thing, as it sits from the factory, was 1,200 and some change, maybe 1,300. And since then, I mean, we've added, you know, you put 4 people in it for one. Obviously, those folks can get out. But, you know, we've added doors, roofs, stereos, winches, front bumpers, lights, all sorts of crap. We're probably pushing, you know, 1,500 pounds. That is going to be a bear to get out of any extreme stuck situation. So that's why I put a winch and get the biggest winch that will fit on your machine and fit within your budget, because nothing is worse than a stalled winch when you're not able to get out. And like I said, this was a really tough decision between 2 and 1, but you can get yourself in some really bad situations just really easily driving along, and all of a sudden you are stuck like Chuck and there's no one around to help pull you out. And even if there is someone around, you know, another one of these may not be able to get you out. You might need a couple more, or you might need a backhoe or something. But that winch will definitely give you a good starting point to either get yourself out or have someone help you get out. Guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was informative. If I have other videos on different parts of this, I will link it in the description. I'll put tags where I mention it. I know that I have one for the whip light there. I have one for the headlights. I don't think I have one for the skid plate or the rock lights, but yeah, I can get those made. Like I said, subscribe to this channel if you like what you see. Hit the like button for me on the video. Get outside and do something fun. We're almost out of summer. It's going to be wintertime soon, which will have its own fun, but you know, it's just winter. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.